feel like this video needs absolutely no introduction whatsoever because everyone knows what Minecraft is. But what I will say, because I have the immune system of like a wet cloth, I am ill again, so I'm very blocked up, so I apologise for sounding more nasally and annoying than usual. But anyway, Minecraft is probably one of the most well-known game/franchises to ever grace this planet. I feel like no matter who you are or where you come from, if someone mentions Minecraft, you're gonna know what they're talking about. And of course, with recent success of the movie that's just dropped, which, fantastic cinematic experience that I recommend to everyone, I think it's fair to say that Minecraft has become a staple of our generation. Something that started off as such a fun, simple video game that later turned into one of the biggest franchises with books, toys and movies. There's really something for everyone. But of course, like most things that are, you know, child-friendly or aimed at children, Minecraft has a dark side attached to it, and it definitely has some horrors that have come along with it. I feel like The Horrors Of is becoming a series on this channel, so if you're enjoying it, please let me know because these videos always seem to do pretty well. So today I thought we could have a look at the darker side of Minecraft and the horrors that have unfortunately been birthed because of it. So sit back, relax, and I'll just get straight into the video and hope that my nose unblocks in the near future. I gotta stay hydrated. So if you've been living under a rock or you just genuinely have no idea what Minecraft is, let me give you a really brief rundown. So essentially, Minecraft is a sandbox game that was released fully back in 2011 and to date can be played on pretty much every single console like Xbox, PS, PC and mobile devices. But the game was actually available to play back in 2009 on all of the different like beta versions. Basically, it's a game where you can build to your heart's content. You can mine, you can farm, you can plant seeds, you can trade with villagers, you can beat the dragon, commit mass murder in a village, inbreed animals, that sort of thing, you know. Now the game comes with two modes, creative and survival. The creative mode allows players to start from, you know, full inventory. You can pick whatever you want, build whatever you want, you get access to everything within the game. This is the one that people use to like, you know, build massive structures or just have fun with their friends, you know, create little cities, do whatever you want, build a farm. Or survival mode, which allows players to start from scratch where you get nothing. You have to start from mining a tree and then going on from there. You have to collect resources as you go and you also have a health and a hunger bar that you need to keep an eye on. Again, this is really brief. This is like surface level stuff because everyone knows what Minecraft is. I don't need to waste my time telling everyone what Minecraft is. But what I do need to waste my time saying is that this game was originally created by a man named Marcus Pearson, or Person, I'm sorry if I've mispronounced that name. And this guy was known as Notch, and he created this game with a company called Mojang, but I actually think it's pronounced Mojang. I don't know, but for the sake of this video, I'm going to call it Mojang because that's how it's spelled. But on the 1st of December 2011, a man named Jens Bergstein, also known as Jeb, actually took full creative control over Minecraft. Thank God, and you're going to see why that's a thank God moment in a moment. And in 2014, Minecraft was actually bought out by Microsoft for $2.5 billion, and this $2.5 billion ended up in Notch's pocket, making him one of the billionaires in the world. Kind of mad that Microsoft bought it for $2.5 billion when you can buy it for like 30 quid in game, but oh well. So Minecraft throughout the years has developed into something that is a lot more complicated than how it started out. Now, okay, this might be a controversial take, but Minecraft today is just not fun anymore. Sorry. This is just my opinion, okay? I enjoyed it when it was a lot more simpler and you didn't have to do a load of the weird stuff that you have to do now because my head can't comprehend it, and I just liked things when they're easy. I also feel like everyone has like a week-long Minecraft phase that they go through as well every like year or so. But the thing is, I actually can't play Minecraft anymore because it gives me motion sickness headaches and it makes me feel nauseous as fuck. Is that just a me thing? Do other people experience this? I know my best friend also experiences this as well, but does anyone else? Are we just crazy? Or is that a real thing? There's also a multiplayer, you know, option that comes along with the game as well, meaning that people can play with literally anyone their heart desires, and this can be, you know, random people or their friends. Minecraft has also come with a load of custom mods that people can download and play as well, which is what a lot of Minecraft YouTubers, you know, get their clicks now. So why on earth was this super fun game that is so popular and everyone knows about? There's hundreds of thousands of, you know, Minecraft YouTubers out there that, you know, upload content, do their thing, there's so much merch. So why would this be so controversial? Well, I am glad you asked, because now we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of this video. So the first controversy that we're going to talk about today is the Notch controversy. Now, Notch is the guy that created Minecraft, and he kind of sucks. I'm not gonna lie, he kind of sucks. He created something so great, and he's his own worst enemy, I guess. You know, this dude started out in 2009 with his creation, starting out as like a god amongst men with what he had done. And in the early days, Notch was like really well liked. He was, you know, really well praised for his transparency, and he inspired a lot of young like coders to get into video game creation. And he was, you know, pretty dedicated to his game. You know, he was always giving frequent updates, and he would always like interact within the Minecraft communities. It was very clear that he cared about what he had done and what other people thought. And then it was round about 2011 when Minecraft had exploded in popularity. You know, everyone was talking about it. It was completely all over, which, you know, essentially skyrocketed him to fame, essentially. But however, in 2014, as mentioned previously, Notch decided to sell his creation to Microsoft, making him a billionaire. And at first, people were a little bit concerned as to why he sold the game. You know, why would you sell your own You've lost all of the rights to something that you made. He'd actually kind of shunned his own creation, if you will, saying that he didn't want to be a symbol and didn't want to take responsibility for the Minecraft community anymore, and that he was feeling burnt out and overwhelmed by the attention that he was getting. Okay, that's totally fair enough. That makes so much sense. You know, some people are just not cut out for that lifestyle of being the centre of attention, so that's totally fair. But of course it doesn't end there, because if it ended there I wouldn't feel the need to talk about this, but it got worse somehow it got worse. Instead, Notch began to I want to say go a little bit nuts, but I don't think he went nuts. I think this was just his personality the, you know, whole entire time. It only really came out when he stopped caring. You know, he didn't have to worry about the backlash because it wasn't his problem anymore. He's a millionaire now, you know? And he started making some rather controversial Twitter posts. Yeah, he started posting some rather sexist, racist and homophobic stuff to his account. For example, in 2017 he tweeted, quote, "It's okay to be white," a phrase which is often used by alt-right groups. The other time he tweeted about how the pay gap between men and women was actually because women are inferior to men. And it wasn't until 2019 where Microsoft actually, like, did something about this, because until this point they'd just sort of ignored it and been like, you know, he's not my problem anymore, which is, like, fair enough. But they actually ended up removing Notch's name from the game's splash screen. So when you start Minecraft, they usually have, like, little, texts in the top corner that come up, like this, for example. And one of them would, like, mention Notch, but Microsoft ended up removing those completely, which is, oh, that's gonna sting. They also said that due to his comments and opinions that Microsoft don't, you know, associate with him because those opinions don't reflect Microsoft or Mojang. And Notch also wasn't invited to the 10th anniversary celebration of Minecraft, which to me just sounds like the beginning of a villain arc, because oh my god, that has got to hurt. Could you imagine creating one of the most popular, well-known, brilliant video games of all time and just being completely shunned from it because you're a on the more lighter end of the controversies that Minecraft has gone through, this one is probably one of the most well-known, and this is the urban legend that is Herobrine. Herobrine? I'm going to call him Herobrine for this video because that sounds more correct. So if you don't know what Herobrine is, or you know what this is probably one of the most well-known internet urban legends to date. But if you genuinely have no idea what I'm talking about, let me explain, okay? So Herobrine first appeared back in 2010 in a Minecraft forum that was posted by a user named Copeland. And this user had claimed that while playing single player mode Minecraft, they'd actually come across a really creepy entity in their game. This screenshot here. And they'd said that they'd spotted a Steve skin in the distance, but they had completely plain glowing white eyes. And they said that this figure would behave kind of freaky, you know, it made them feel really uneasy. For example, they would watch what the player was doing, you know, they would disappear when they were approached, and they would also leave behind like really weird structures like 2x2 tunnels, perfect pyramids in the ocean, and trees with no leaves. And the post ends with the player going on to state that they'd actually tried to like research more about who Herobrine was and, you know, where he had come from, but they got a message from a private user simply stating, quote, "Stop." And this was signed Herobrine. Yep, it sounds cheesy, it sounds fake, it sounds like every creepypasta in the book, but did it matter? No, because this thing scared so many children across the world and it still holds up today. Sorry, I don't care. I don't care. Soon enough, the fan base was absolutely losing their shit over this character. More photos began to appear of this character supposedly appearing in their Minecraft worlds. People would make YouTube videos about it, you know, Herobrine spotted in my, you know, Minecraft world. People were losing their shit, me included. Oh my god, I remember falling down this rabbit hole and into the trap of being scared to play Minecraft while I was on my own. And this led to people like developing their own mods into like Minecraft to make this, you know, urban legend come to life. Oh, I love when a community comes together to create art. But it didn't end there, because then after, you know, people started to like go crazy over this, people wanted an explanation and they began to come up with theories of who Herobrine was. And this is where it gets a little bit insane, because one of them, well, the most well-known one, claimed that Herobrine was Notch's dead brother that he added into Minecraft, despite Notch publicly claiming that he has never had a brother. But I think the reason why Herobrine did so well is because Minecraft, especially the early days of Minecraft, was so creepy and eerie. You know, it had this like ambience to it that can't be recreated. The fog that used to be in the game, you know, the fact that it was so dark unless you had torches, like, it's freaky. The idea that something was watching you when you were alone in a pixelated world made Herobrine something to be feared. And how did Mojang, you know, go about this? Did they sort of shut the rumours down immediately to appease to their young childlike audience? No, they didn't. They played on it, and I love them for this. So instead of turning around and be like, hey guys, this isn't true, we would never do this, instead in every update they always add, quote, Herobrine removed. And this became a reoccurring thing every time the game would update, which, But, you know, did this sort of scare people away from the game? No. If anything, this made people more drawn to it because people wanted to be the one to discover Herobrine. But anyway, back into the more serious controversies that Minecraft has faced throughout the years. One of them is Minecraft is an absolute hotspot for bullying. But I will say, I feel like every child has to go through their world being griefed at least once in their lives because it's character development. Sorry, I don't make the rules. But, you know, this does tend to happen and it causes lots of fallouts amongst children. I know it did. I have many memories of, you know, being a griefer and having my world grief. If you don't know what that means, do I need to explain that? I feel like I probably should. Griefing is where you go into someone's Minecraft world and just blow it up. Just destroy their hard work. It happens. And you're an asshole. But anyway, not only that, Minecraft also has lots of, like, mods that can expose young children, like player base, to inappropriate language, violent themes, or adult themed material. Minecraft has also led to children being radicalised, which we'll come back to more in a little while. Minecraft themselves have actually put, features in place to help prevent children from becoming victims, essentially. Like implementing chat filters and content moderation teams to remove inappropriate content that may appear on the game. Also, parental consent is required for children under the age of 13 to play Minecraft. Minecraft also provides parental control through their Xbox version of the game, because Xbox accounts can be linked through parents' Microsoft accounts and what have you. And these help parents manage their children's gaming experiences. But regardless, for some reason, Minecraft has become a hub for people to share their extremist views. And I'm not talking about when you get in one of those games where you have to build something and people just put a on there. I'm not talking about that kind of extremism. Well, I mean, that is extreme. But I mean, people genuinely being involved in alt-right groups that mean what they're making. Do you know what I'm trying to say? I think I'm talking bull right now. It might seem like all fun and games when someone builds, a hate symbol associated with hate groups, but really all that's going to do is make children ask questions about what it is and then also learn about it, which could end up indoctrinating them into that hate group. Sounds crazy, but it genuinely happens. Because of Minecraft's, open-ended and mod-friendly existence, it becomes a canvas for all kinds of content, including extremist propaganda, which means that you can build these structures without, any sort of consequence, as well as use private servers and in-game books to share manifestos or organisations. And because Minecraft appeals to children and teenagers, it makes them targets for, radicalisation attempts. And there have been several reports and investigations that have shown that far-right groups build virtual training camps within the games. Extremist communities have been, spotted or found using the Minecraft chat feature to build and discuss plans to distribute hate content, as well as just straight up recruitment attempts. They disguise themselves as these friendly, guys, but then really they're hateful people. For example, there was actually a case in Russia where, 3 14-year-old boys were arrested for hate speech. One of the boys was given a 5-year sentence in prison in a high-profile case prompted by plans where he and 2 of his friends had actually, decided to add the building of Russia's Federal Security Service to Minecraft, and then they were going to blow it up. Which, I feel like there's a lot of context missing in this story, because that doesn't sound that bad, but then again it is Russia, so not touching that one with a barge pole. But then what makes this case, a little bit more questionable is that 2 of the defendants in the case were actually convicted of also possessing illegal weapons. And after their arrests, their phones were, confiscated and taken in for investigation, and police said that they later found chats in the phones that had proven that the trio had planned to add the building to Minecraft and blow it up. The investigators also said that the boys had criticised the FSB, and in these chats, which is Russia's high things. They also were found reading banned books, and they'd made their own firecrackers and blew them up in abandoned buildings in their city. Yeah, again, I just want to say that's an example. It doesn't sound bad, but if Russia says it's bad, then who am I to say anything about it, right? Okay, moving swiftly on. And also, right off the bat, Minecraft has been known for putting children at risk of grooming. So, trigger warning before we go into the next section of this video. This is where it's going to get a little bit more serious, and the jokes and the memes are going to come to an abrupt stop, because it's disgusting. Because Minecraft is a game aimed at children, it comes with its fair share of creeps, and we're going to get into that bit a little bit later. Because Minecraft is played by children, the topic of safety comes into play. How safe are your kids really on this game? Because there have been instances where individuals have used Minecraft to groom children, which has actually led to like people going to prison. So I thought I could show you 2 examples of this happening. And the first case of this happening is a man who's called Adam Isaac, and he in 2017 was convicted of being a offender after using Minecraft to groom children. Adam Isaac was a 23-year-old man from Wales who'd ended up meeting a 12-year-old and a 14-year-old boy in Minecraft, and he was actually arrested back in 2016. Adam Isaac was actually already on the sex offenders register after being cautioned in 2015 for possessing, quote, a small number of images of children. Small number, big number, doesn't matter, you're a pedophile. And not only was he a pedophile, he'd already been caught being a pedophile, and he was allowed to access a child's game. And these conversations that he'd had with these children had begun on Minecraft, but then later moved on to Skype, where he would pay the children to send images of themselves. And he was eventually caught when one of the victims' fathers had actually come across the conversations that were going on behind the scenes. Adam Isaac admitted to causing or inciting child or porn, performing acts in the presence of a child, and encouraging a child to engage in activity and the possession of photos of a child. Yeah, that's a track record, that, isn't it? He'd also committed sex acts on himself while on video calls with these children, and also possessed images of an unidentified third boy, meaning that there was more victims. And do you want to know how long he got? Do you want to know how long he got in prison? 2 years. He got sentenced to 2 years in prison. And do you want to know what makes it worse? Because in the UK justice system, when you get handed a prison sentence and it's not for murder, you won't serve the full 2 years. He'll probably do a year. He's probably already out now. Well, he is out now. He'll serve a year. Another instance of this happening, of children, being groomed on Minecraft, is by a man named Vinny Pinkham. And Vinny was a 19-year-old man who was found guilty of 2 counts of communication with a child, 2 counts of causing or inciting a child under 13 to engage in sexual activity, and 3 counts of possessing extreme images and possession of a prohibited image. I know you can very clearly tell that I'm looking at my script right now as I'm, talking about this, and that's because I want to make sure I've got every detail correct, so I do apologise if that's a little bit distracting or annoying. Police had gathered evidence to show that Vinny had actually attempted to befriend children between the ages of 6 to 8, and he would build relationships with them online to then manipulate them into sending extreme photos of themselves, and, he would actually meet one of his victims through Minecraft. Vinny was actually caught by police back in 2021 when he was actually forced to seize his computer and was put on a curfew, and this was because he was believed to have indecent images on his devices. However, this charge was later dropped against him. I don't know why, but it was. And then when he got his shit back, he actually contacted an 8-year-old on his PlayStation while playing Minecraft. After meeting this child on Minecraft, he then added him through Instagram and promised him, quote, £30 worth of V-Bucks, which is the in-game currency on Fortnite, to send photos. And the parents actually found out what was going on with their child when their child approached them and asked, "How do I take a picture of my bum?" He was then arrested again and police seized all of his devices. But he eventually went on to lie and said that he accused the child of talking inappropriately. It wasn't him, it was the 8-year-old child that was the one being inappropriate. And then went on to call the 8-year-old child a perv. Yeah, I'm not joking. He was then released under investigation again, and what did he do? He struck again, because on December 2022, he struck again by posing as a 7-year-old trying to groom a 6-year-old over Snapchat. He then threatened to hurt the child's parents in return for images, and he then would send images of himself back. Finally, he was arrested again on the 13th of April 2023, and when they searched his phone, they uncovered hundreds of images and searches for bestiality, and he was sentenced to 7 years in prison and given a 10-year harm prevention order. And while we're on the topic of creeps, it's only right that we talk about the YouTubers. I feel like this section of the video could go on forever, and it could actually be an entirely different video on its own, so if that's something that you're interested in, please let me know. But I just thought we could, you know, just skim over some of the more notable occurrences that have happened with the YouTubers of this, you know, game. When you were a kid, I feel like everyone, especially my generation, had their favourite Minecraft YouTuber, and it was, if you were lucky, you know, it was like Stampy or DanTDM, or, you know, someone nice. And if you were unlucky like myself, it was either Sky Does Minecraft or Lion Maker. Unfortunately, I was a Sky Does Minecraft fan. I would unironically walking around calling things squid and butter. But lots of these YouTubers have actually been outed as horrible people. Yeah, wouldn't piss if they were on fire type of horrible. For example, Sky Does Minecraft is an piece of shit. Bro got outed by his ex-partner with proof and screenshots of him being an abuse addict, who's just an all-around shit person. Loads of people ended up cutting ties with him, and I don't really care what he's doing now. Other examples include Lion Maker, who is a straight-up who was known for making family-friendly content but was soliciting photos from underage fans on the side. And finally, Bashaverse, who had past charges of unlawful contact with a minor, which, you know, he tried to hide, but the situation was really controversial because no one really knew about it. He actually died back in 2021 due to complications, so yeah, if you'd like a more detailed explanation on the YouTubers, let me know. And finally, I have to talk about the godforsaken Minecraft movie. It would be wrong of me not to mention this. So when I was writing this script, the movie hadn't yet come out and I hadn't yet seen it, but I went to go and see it, okay, with a group of friends. There was like, I think 8 of us all together, and let me tell you, we laughed, we cried, we cheered. It was the best cinematic experience I have ever experienced. The film was shit, okay, the film was dog shit, but oh my god, was the experience amazing, and I would 10 out of 10 do it again. Because the film was shit, it made it brilliant. Does that make sense? And for some reason, people always lose their shit over the classic chicken jockey moment, okay? And everyone in my theatre did. Everyone clapped, which I thought was relatively normal, like, just to clap. Tell me why people are bringing in 40-pound bags of popcorn and throwing it everywhere. Why would you trash the movie screen? It's not that good, okay? Am I being a party pooper? Maybe. I mean, it's still funny, okay? Don't get me wrong. I love it. The applause, yes, do what you want. But don't make the movie theatre workers suffer because, I don't know, maybe it's because I have a slither of empathy for people. I just feel like making theatre workers clean up a load of rubbish is, like, really mean. Don't be a c***, you know? Despite all of its controversies and dangers, Minecraft continues to be one of the most popular video games to date. I also think it will stay that way for years to come as well, especially with the movie and all of the new merch coming along with it. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. Fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you feel about it. Of course, it comes with the dangers like every single game aimed at children does, which is why it's up to parents to make sure that their children are safe and, you know, have a positive experience within these games. I know sometimes that's easier said than done because it'll happen regardless. All you can do is try your hardest. And unfortunately, that is all the time I have in this video. If you enjoyed, please let me know. If you have any case requests, anything you want to say, or just to say hello in the comments, please do, as I read every single comment. If you'd like to follow me on any of the social medias, especially Instagram, the links are down below in my link tree. On Instagram I post updates and you get, you know, the ins and outs before the video's even posted. And if you'd like to subscribe, please do, that would be great. And hopefully by the next video, this will stop being so blocked up. So until then, stay safe.